Many years ago, when I first worked in London, there was a recording studio underneath our one run by a couple of professional music writers who wrote for film and television. Often I'd say to them, "What are you doing today?" And they'd say, "Oh, I'm writing a music for Land Rover or Jaguar," or it could have been anything, but they were big brands. I'd come back at the end of the day as I was leaving and they'd have an entire track written. And I was always amazed at how these guys could be creative under pressure. They were able to consistently, every day, deliver high quality music. How do you do that? Where do you find inspiration when you need to come up with something? There's a range of ways that I do it and that other artists do it as well. But one is to have a library of pre-existing material. So every time you sit down and have a play or a jam or something, you record it. And then that goes in your list of things that might work. And they're things that can spark that creative process. Collaborations also work really well, because everybody brings something unique. Often, like when I'm listening to music, Izzy will say to me, "Gosh, the words are amazing in this track." And I'm like, I didn't even hear there were any words. I was listening to the snare drum, which sounds great. Everyone listens to something different and brings a new approach, and that is a great place to start from. If you can work in a team, the results are always going to be much better. The thing that the professionals do is that they work to a template. So if you need to write in the style of, say, Sub Focus, for instance, then load a Sub Focus track into your DAW, use that as the template to get started. You're not copying, you're using that as a place to begin from, so you're not starting from a complete blank sheet of paper, and then you can remove that later, and you'll always add your own flair to it, so it's not going to sound exactly the same. It's a great place to start. The other thing you can do as well is use existing samples or mashups from other artists or records. Lots of bands have done this in the past. Prodigy is a really great example. Fatboy Slim, Moby, they've all borrowed from other places. The problem with doing that is that you will end up having to actually pay license fees. So it's very, very expensive to do that. Fred again, for example, he uses a lot of stuff that he finds on YouTube, and he gets permission from the authors, and that gives him a good kickstart in the right direction. Or you can just, I call it capturing the world. So I have a couple of devices that I take around with me when I go outside London or if I'm going somewhere interesting. One is a set of binaural headphones. Well, they look like headphones, but they're actually microphones. I can get the sounds of all that stuff around me. I'll often take a digital audio recorder with me. Firefly, I recorded an owl in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. that was keeping me awake. That ended up on the track. Right now, I'm putting together ideas for our next track, and I'm using the template approach because there's a specific style and genre that I want to go with. And then I'm also doing lots of little jam sessions on the modular back here, and then recording bits that come out of that. And every now and then there's going to be something that just stands out. So it can come from lots of different places.